A person interested in transcendental knowledge must therefore always directly and indirectly inquire about it to know the all-pervading truth. All glories to Chintamani and my initiating spiritual master, Somagiri. All glories to my instructing spiritual master, the Supreme Personality of Godhead who wears peacock feathers in his crown under the shade of the lotus feet, which are like desired trees. Jaya Shri Radharani enjoys the transcendental mellow of the eternal consort. Since one cannot visually experience the presence of the Super Soul, he appears before us as a liberated devotee. Such a spiritual master is none other than Krishna himself. One should therefore avoid bad company and associate only with devotees. With their realized instructions, one such saint can cut the knot connecting one with the activities of unfavorable to devotional service. The, the spirituality powerful message of Godhead can be properly discussed only in a society of devotees, and it is greatly pleasing to hear in the association. If one hears from the devotees, the way of transcendental experience quickly opens, and gradually one attains firm faith that is due course develops into attractions and devotion. A pure devotee constantly engaged in the loving service of the Lord is identically with the Lord, who is always seated in his heart. Saints are my heart. I am only I am their hearts. They do not know anyone but me. Therefore I do not recognize anyone beside them as mine. Saints of your caliber are themselves places of pilgrimage. Because of their purity, they are constant companions of the Lord, and therefore they can purify even the places of pilgrimage. Such pure devotees are of two types: personal associates, parisats, and neophytes, devotees, sadhakas. There are three categories of incarnations of Godhead: the partial incarnation, qualitative incarnation, and empowered incarnations. The Purushas and Matsyas are examples of partial incarnations. Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva are collectively incarnations. Empowered incarnations are those like Kumaras, King Prithu, Mahamuni Vyas, the compiler of the Vedas. The personality of Godhead exhibits himself in two kinds of forms: Prakasha and Vilasa. When the personality of Godhead expands himself in many forms, all non-different in their features, as Lord Krishna did when he married 16,000 queens and when he performed his rasa dance. Such forms of the Lord are called manifested forms, Prakasha Vigrahas. It is astounding that Lord Krishna, who is one without the second, expanded himself in the 16,000 similar forms to marry 16,000 queens in their respective homes. When Lord Krishna, surrounded by groups of cowherd girls, began the festivities of the rasa dance, the Lord of many mystic powers placed himself between each two girls. When the cowherd girls and Krishna thus joined together, each girl thought that Krishna was dearly embracing her alone. To behold the wonderful pastimes of the Lord, the denizens of heaven and their wives, all very eager to see the dance, flew in the sky in their hundreds of airplanes. They showed flowers and beat sweetly on the drums. If numerous forms, all equal in their features, are displayed simultaneously, such forms are called parakshas, vigrahas of the Lord. But when the numerous forms are slightly different from from one another, they are called Vilas Vigrahas. When the Lord displays numerous forms with the different features by his inconceivable potency, such form is called Vilasa Vigrahas. Example of such Vilasa Vigrahas are Baldev, Nityananda in Vaikuntha Dham, and the Chatur Bayus. Chatur Vasudev, Shankarshana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. The energies consorts of the Supreme Lord are of three kinds: the Lakshmis in Vaikuntha, the Queen in Dwarka, and the Gopis in Vrindavan. The Gopis are the best of all, for they have the privilege of serving Krishna, the primeval Lord, the son of the king of Braj. The personal associates of the primeval Lord Sri Krishna are his devotees who are identical with him. He is complete with the entourage of devotees. Now I have worshipped all the various levels of devotees. Worshipping them is the source of all good fortune. In the first verse I have invoked the general benediction, but in the second I have prayed to the Lord in the particular form. I offer my respectful obeisance unto Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, who are like the sun and moon. They have risen simultaneously on the horizon of Garuda to dissipate the darkness of ignorance and thus wonderfully bestow benediction upon all. Sri Krishna and Balram, the personality of Godhead, who formerly appeared in Vrindavan and were millions of times more effulgent than the sun and moon, have risen over the eastern horizon, Godesha, West Bengal, being compassionate for the fallen state of the world. The appearance of Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Prabhu Nityananda has surcharged the world with happiness. As the sun and moon drive away darkness by their appearance and reveal the nature of everything, these two brothers dissipate the darkness of ignorance covering the living beings and enlighten them with knowledge of the absolute truth. The darkness of ignorance is called Ketava, the way of cheating, which begins with religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. The great scripture, Srimad Bhagavatam, compiled by Mahamuni Vyasadeva from the 4 original verses, describes the most elevated and kind-hearted devotee and completely rejects the cheating ways of materially motivated religiosity. It propounds the highest principles of eternal religion, which can actually mitigate the 3 miseries of living beings and award the highest benediction of full prosperity and knowledge. Those willing to hear the message of this scripture in the submissive attitude of service can at once capture the Supreme Lord in their hearts. Therefore, there is no need for any scripture other than Srimad Bhagavatam. The foremost process of cheating is to desire to achieve liberation by merging into the Supreme. For this course, the